Hello and good morning everyone. This is myself, Tyron, and Francesca here. Today we're going to go through the process of discussing project contracts, projects, contract lines from ProJobs, and how this links to our subscription app LISA on FinOps. And this will of course help us in basically using up a project contract and a project from ProJobs and eventually linking this to a subscription plan where we can define entitlements and usage of hours, etc. Okay, so I will leave it up to Francesca for the initial part of actually creating the project contract and project and contract lines.
Thank you, Tyron. So first let's start by creating a new project contract. As you can see here, we are on the my project contracts view. If we go to all project contracts, you can see all the project contracts that were created. We'll start by creating a new one and naming it assignment project contract. Choose the customer. So you can choose the manager. And the product price list. You can also choose the request delivery date. You can save, and then as you will see, this line shows that we need to create a new project price list for the project contract. Put the description, and as we can see, this linked to the project contract, and save and close. So go on contract lines and create a new contract line. So for the last time bank project contract, choose the billing method and associate a project with it. Now create a new project. We associate the project manager, and we set an estimated start date. For this purpose, I'm going to set it in 2019, so then we can create the corresponding time. Okay. Alright, then we can associate an invoice frequency. For this example, we'll do monthly invoices, and we'll start billing for the beginning of the project. And 7th, which is a Monday. So now we'll go back to the project. Now Tyron will continue
From here, yes, thank you, Francesca. So let us go to all projects and find this specific project which Francesca created, which is here, perfect, which is P-001028-M. I double click here, and I actually here can see all the all the details of the project. Okay, so once we are here with all the details of the project, I can go to subscription management, and this part is where we can link to our FinOps LISA application, right? Subscription management. So here I can go to enter project subscriptions, and once I click here, as you can see, from ProJobs we went ahead onto another environment, which is a finance and operations environment, project subscriptions here. So just to guide you for a quick overview of this new form here, this form is the integration form between both systems. Okay, so up here we have all the project details, which is the project ID, we have the project name, the customer who this relates to, and down here we have the project subscriptions, which are or which will be linked with this project. Now essentially so far we have nothing, so if I click on all, there is nothing in the list, but going forward you can have multiple project subscriptions created from one single project inside of ProJobs. Okay, simply by using this filter up here, we can show the different active, pending, or even cancelled or failed subscriptions. Okay, so I'll go ahead and click new for starters, and we can create our first project subscription. Under activity number, I'm going to choose this default activity number, which is automatically associated with the creation of the project, which Francesca earlier created. Okay, and I'm going to choose my item number. Now with regards to item number, this is the item list coming from finance and operations, and this specific item which we will choose here relates to what the customer has actually purchased from us in terms of subscription. Okay, so with this subscription MS Time Bank project, for this example, our customer Sunset Wholesales has purchased a Well NPWT system, which constitutes of a number of hours of support which the customer can use and can discuss with us on certain matters. Okay, so here if I scroll to the right now, I can see that I have a quantity of 1, so the customer purchased one package of this deal. The pricing is set to $500 throughout one single month. And if I go to the billing posting profile, I can choose a 3-monthly period, so that at the end of the 3 months we will evaluate and of course bill the customer. And here on the right hand side we have the applicable subscription from date and the to date. So the from date is taken as 1st of January 2019 as per the project created on ProJobs. And the applicable subscription to date will be 3 months from this date, which is 1st of April 2019. Okay, all of this is in the past. Now if we click save, we should be able to have this record saved, and as you can see, these two buttons here, customer entitlements and transfer, became enabled now, so that we can add entitlements and eventually transfer this to LISA. Now to just briefly discuss the fields down here below, these are essentially all the fields related to this subscription line. Basically what is shown up here in a grid format is shown the same thing down here in a field by field basis. Okay, so all these are the customer details here, the project details, what we have chosen as billing posting profile, the sales unit of measure, the currency, the price per month. If any discounts should apply, we can input these here. For this specific case, we do not need to create any purchases because this is a service which we're giving to the customer, so we don't need any purchase orders to be created. But if we did need them, we could actually create them from here. And the rest of the fields, for example the perpetual ones, are related to a specific program and subscription type. So if this was different here, program type and subscription type, we would have to set these dates accordingly as well. Okay, now going forward, if I press on customer entitlements, I can create multiple entitlements per subscription, but for my case I'll just create one entitlement here. So this will be entitlement 1, and I can choose all. So basically for this subscription we're going to say that per 3 months the support package gives the customer a whole set of 40 hours which they can use calling us, discussing with us on certain matters, etc. etc. Okay, so the start date here is also set as 1st of January. The next start date, also the original start date, is the same here because we have just started this project subscription. Only in cases where, for example, we are continuing on an existing one, these two dates will be different, where the original will be the actual date of starting, and the next will be actually today's date, or the date of when we're continuing with the project. Okay, so if we press OK here, we have set our customer entitlements, and we can press transfer, which will take us to this form right here, where we can check mark our line. We can have multiple lines, as we said before, and by pressing OK, this will actually create for us our first subscription plan, okay, for this customer, which is USPI 6780 and number 15. Okay, if I scroll down here, as you can see in the list, our record disappeared. The reason is that this list is showing the not transferred subscriptions. In our case, it is a transferred subscription, so we can actually click on all or the transferred button to show the existing one which we just created. So if I click on it and I scroll downwards, I can see down here I have my subscription plan ID, which when clicked it will hyperlink me to our all subscriptions form, which is here. And another step in advance will be subscription management cockpit, which will give me an entire overview of this whole subscription plan. Okay. This is a familiar screen, of course, from previous lessons, whereby we did discuss already the functionality of subscription management. Just for starters, please note that the status here is set to published already and not draft, as with the other subscriptions which are created manually from subscription management LISA app. So in this case, it's already published automatically, which saves a lot of clicks and time for the end user. Okay, if I go to the details form, you will note that this is a subscription classification of type project linked with our project ID, together with all the details that we just defined earlier on in our projobs and in our integration form. Okay, so if I scroll downwards here, you can see the line details, which is our product or our item which we selected earlier, and our start and end dates for the first period, together with the pricing system. If I go to the right, you can see it's 1500, which is 500 of course times the 3-month period. Okay, if I scroll downwards, there is the last tab, which is action messages, which is currently empty, and it's awaiting us to run the master process. Okay, now if I run the master process, press OK here, we should have our first actions created. As you can see down here, I have this generate project sales order action, and what this is that basically here we are going to charge our customer the initial 1500 USD value for the benefits of this package, so that the customer entitlements will be available for this customer. Okay, firm action. I press OK, and we should achieve exactly. We have generated a sales order for that action. So if I scroll downwards, you can see that under the not firmed tab, it is also the record has also disappeared, and it was transferred to the firmed tab. Now under the firmed tab, as you will note, there isn't just one action, but there are two action lines now. The first one, which we did ourselves, the second one is the project hours entitlement. As you remember, we did create a customer entitlement of 40 hours for the whole 3 months for this customer, so that the support package given to this customer is 40 hours. So basically here, if we scroll to the right, we can see that for the period of January till end of March, just before the 1st of April, we do have the 40-hour balance available for us, right? And if we click on customer entitlements, we can also see the linked entitlement. We can also cancel any remaining balance, so we can decide, for example, that at the end of the 3 months, if there is any pending balance of this 40, it can be cancelled, or we can decide to maybe renew it or recarry it to the next period manually. In my case, I click on linked entitlement, and we can see that we have entitlement 1, which we created earlier, for 40 hours per 3 months. Okay, so I will go back on this form. And this action here, the project hours entitlement, does not need to be firmed or posted in any way. In our part 2 video where we describe the project invoicing part, we'll see how this project hours is consumed by the timesheet entries coming from ProJobs. Okay, so in this case, I'll just click on my first action here, generate project sales order, and I can click post. Okay, so this will post for me the invoice for this project sales order, the initial value of 1,500 USD. So I click post, I click OK, and my sales order 360 has been posted, and we get the invoice. As before, the line has disappeared from the screen because it is now under the historical tab as a historical action for references for the future. Okay, so if I scroll to my right, I can here see my sales order. I can click on it and see it, and I can also see my invoice details right over here, USPI 0014. Okay, I can also print my invoice from the screen here if it is needed. Okay, so we'll see you in part 2 with the invoicing of the timesheet entries for this project. Thank you.